Welcome, curious minds. In this deep dive, we're exploring a pretty radical idea from Starfleet, that true command. It isn't just about, issuing orders.
Right. It's also about cultivating the conditions for ethical dissent, for personal well-being, both institutionally and even within your own family.
Exactly. We'll uncover how these concepts, which might seem separate, actually fundamentally redefine what duty means. And we've pulled from some fascinating sources, personal logs, mission posts, even academic class notes from Starfleet operations itself to show you.
Yeah, our mission today is really to unpack how individuals navigate these immense responsibilities, not just operationally, but, in their personal lives too, and how understanding these ethical principles can give real clarity when the stakes are, well, incredibly high.
Okay, so let's start with Vice Admiral Sidra MacLaren. She's a fleet commander overseeing the commissioning of the very impressive USS Arawyn. Now, while she's clearly proud, her personal logs, they reveal this deep personal anxiety.
And it's about her son, William. He's expressing this desire to join Starfleet.
Which sounds straightforward maybe, but it isn't simple for Sidra, is it?
Not at all. Her family carries a hairy legacy. Service, yes, but also loss. Her grandfather, Alec, her uncle, Aidan, both died in uniform. So William's choice brings up this really profound mix of pride and fear. It's testing her.
That's a huge weight. And Sidra's leadership, it's tested further by another concern, a really personal one. At the same time, she's worried about her friend, who's also her subordinate, Rear Admiral Indy Hawk.
Yeah, Indy is showing clear signs of exhaustion, emotional struggle. But the tricky part is, every time Sidra tries to offer help, just personal support.
Indy deflects it, pushes back.
Exactly. So what do you do as a commander, as a friend, when that direct offer is just met with resistance?
That's the crux of it. And this is where her husband, Commodore Stephen McCaffrey, comes in with this, well, really brilliant framework.
He does. For Indy, he advises Sidra to separate the friend track from the command track. They're distinct, but both are vital.
Okay, friend track, command track. What do those actually look like in practice, especially for someone like Indy who's, guarded?
Well, the friend track is simple. Pure connection. No agenda. Offering coffee, maybe a walk, just being present.
Just human connection.
Right. But the command track, that uses the institutional guardrails. Things like mandatory duty caps or routine wellness checks by the CMO, but for all senior staff.
Ah, so it's not singling her out.
Precisely. It normalizes it. And maybe strategically rotating Indy off night watch. It lets her step back a bit without losing face. It's about letting the system support her, not just relying on a personal intervention she might reject.
That's incredibly insightful, using the structure itself.
Okay, and what about William, her son wanting to join Starfleet? How does Stephen suggest Sidra handle that, balancing support and protection?
He suggests a path of limited autonomy, giving William real tasks with very clear limits, making sure he has mentorship, and importantly, holding after-action talks that focus on analysis, not blame.
Learning from it, not judging. Exactly. And crucially, Stephen advocates establishing nonverbal alerts, teaching William that using them, signaling he needs help or is overwhelmed, is actually a sign of strength, not weakness. It fosters a culture where asking for help is genuinely valued.
That whole framework, it's powerful for support. But what about when the ethical dilemma isn't support, but defiance, refusal?
Ah, well, that takes us to this foundational legal case from Stephen's law class, the Valley Forge Inquiry, and the big one, Starfleet v. Vanderwall.
Vanderwall. Okay, tell us about that.
It centers on Lieutenant Junior Grade Arliss Vanderwall, a very junior officer during the Dominion War. A brutal time. He received a fire-clear order, basically, destroyed on a convoy that was flagged as compromised.
High-stakes, wartime situation.
Immense pressure. But in this just breathtaking act of insubordination, Vanderwall locked out his phaser bank, just for a minute.
Wow. He refused the order.
He refused. And that minute, it saved 600 civilian lives. A second signal came through revealing the convoy was civilian, not compromised.
To lock out his weapons, knowing the potential consequences, that's incredible courage. What did that act do legally? How did it change things?
It led directly to what's now called the Vanderwall Standard. It established that officers have a duty to refuse a manifestly unlawful order.
Manifestly unlawful. Meaning?
Meaning one that's obvious to a reasonable officer with the facts in hand at that specific moment. And crucially, there's also a duty to check those facts, up to the point where delaying actually creates an unreasonable risk itself.
So you have to check if you can, but you also have to refuse if it's clearly wrong.
Yes. It's about putting your spine on the line, making that ethical call, even facing immense pressure and potential career ruin. The standard, it created a kind of firewall for good faith dissent. It protects officers from superiors who might try to, poison the process with their rank later.
Okay, so if we tie all this together, Stephen's strategies for Sidra supporting Indy, preparing William, they're not just like good personal advice. They're proactively building the conditions for psychological safety, for critical thinking.
Exactly. And that mirrors the principles of ethical courage that are formalized in the Van der Waals Standard, which provides that institutional firewall.
So both approaches, the personal and the institutional, they empower people to make the right calls, ensure well-being is considered, and balance accountability with compassion, whether that's, within a family or right at the top of the command chain.
Mm-hmm. This deep dive, it really shows that leadership, true leadership, isn't just giving orders. It's about building the capacity for critical thought, for human connection within your team, within your family.
What a journey through command, care, and courage. We've seen how those personal anxieties merge right into professional duties and how strong leadership really means creating space. Space for support, yes, but also for ethical dissent.
It really leaves us with a provocative thought, doesn't it? For you, listening.
Yeah.
How do you, in your own work, in your own life, how do you create the conditions for genuine dissent? How do you empower others to put their spine on the line when it really matters most?